Big Boss Jock, my 750, day 8, segment 2. El Poderoso, 750 kilohertz, AM, en el radio. Soy yo, el gran jefe de los jockeys del discos. Radio Rebelde. Yeah, that's right. I'm the Big Boss Jock, and right here inside, I have our one only God, Father in heaven, Allah, helping me do the rhyme. We do it line by line. Continuing on, based upon materialism, along with the worshiping of idols, followers of their cult place such importance on the having of material objects, desire what they eye on the screen, idols they choose to emulate, from their style to their way. As a group, the followers will never have what the top do. Only 45 have made their way to being the leader of the cult. Followers are aware they probably won't get there. On their way trying, they have more than anyone else does in their circle. If they don't have more than the others, they strive to acquire in order to be accepted also. With the desire to out-obtain what the others have, Yankee has their money, but they are left inside feeling empty. They oftentimes complain about the 2%, while at the same time elitists they select, feeling 2% is the only acceptable form of government. Last election were 2 billionaires, one self-proclaimed, other was because their fame. Hillary with Bill made $120 million for giving speeches. Bill made over $30 million his first year away from the presidency, and that's $120 million in 2 years alone giving speeches. George Jr., Bill made over $30 million his first year out of the presidency. George Jr. made $80 million his first year. He stepped away. How many more dollars, people, do you think Bill has made for the other 13 unaccounted for years? Hillary was able to hit the presentation circuit after being First Lady, Senator, then Madam Secretary of State, increased the fee she was paid. You, the public, are being fools. Something used as a tool. 6 corporations own all the mainstream media. All the alternative media picks their stories up from the mainstream, oftentimes chooses to use the same images by a known name appeared every time the images do. That name, the fame, the one that presents the images of the day. They are also oftentimes computer modified. 6 corporations are all in step with Yankee Sam's agenda. Not one of them veers. Cornerstone of every true democracy is a free, also independent media. Something to remember, people. People should ask themselves why the media all took the same tone with Donald, while at the same time pretend to remorse the loss of Barry at the helm. Donald, CBS, ABC, NBC all chose to show as if he is inept, highlighting a divide that's yet to exist. When I wrote this, it makes the illusion of false threats. 310 million inhabitants. There are 10 or so known cases of police shooting citizens, not just any type of citizens, police shooting of African Americans. Media has highlighted, kept on the spotlight. African Americans' lives haven't changed. Attitudes differ greatly. Their community, like all others, pays attention to the screen instead of keeping focus on their reality. The reason for being angry is over an illusion. What they are seeing on the screen most times has little or nothing to do with their reality. Believing in the illusion has caused people to become delusional. They live life believing in a fantasy. Me, Bender, had quite an answer. Grew up in an upper middle class neighborhood, suburban, predominantly Caucasian. Asked he was why he chose to be a kneeler. Replied, talking from the corner of his mouth, best accent he could put on. his actions explained were out of resentment. Bodies were laying in the streets. Bodies of non-Caucasians found abound. By the police murdered, also abused, found laying dead in the streets all across his land. Had he been asked then, hang on. Had he been asked then, specifically which deaths, what was he referring to? Could he mention anything other than the 10 or so high-profile cases? I feel that he couldn't have. Since then, he was coached, also felt the need to make a tax-deductible donation. After the fact donation he made to the BBB, a well-known hate group one Yankee Sam says is about civil rights. Barry nor Donald write their own speeches, and African Americans don't turn off. You'll understand. This isn't against you. You're included, just like everyone else is. This is all inclusive over here in this group. So don't turn off. Hang in there. Barry nor Donald write their own speeches. Psychiatrists from the DIA, CIA think tank, they choose what the presidents will say. Barry's final speech, I have read along with the critiquing. Bodies scattered across the vast land, and I broke down Barry's speech. We can do that later on. Bodies scattered across this vast land, scattered like tombstones, heard Donald mention that. Barry noted U.S. loss of life, U.S. soldiers that to 65, saying African Americans, who he has termed with a hate term, black, said folks in Selma, also Stonewall, you bet, black is a hate term. You're African descended. You have something to be proud of, not just a color on the chip chart. Said folks in Selma, also Stonewall. This is what Barry told us. Folks in Selma, also Stonewall, were willing to do the same, suggesting people go out spill blood like what has been done in Iraq, also in Iwo Jima. Compare that to people doing the same in the streets of their own country. So what Barry was innuendoing is that civil war might very well be necessary, that his group is willing to go to war. Donald's speech was written by and realize these are being written by the same entity, the DIA, CIA. Speaking right to you, African Americans, not financiers, a Caucasian. Presenting George Jr.'s takeover as if he's behind Michael Robinson. Donald's speech was written by the psychiatrist, and you bet he's going to whip out his penis on you, right to you, African American community, and you'll have a choice. Be disgraced, accept that you believed in a false prophet called Barry the Guru, or choose to accept Michael's penis and take that as the flavor of the day. Hey, it's all right, everyone's okay, didn't hurt anyone, and Schwartz, a Nazi nigger's going to come and run along after her. Him? I mean, it's all the same thing. Tranny Central, up there at the podium. I mean, it would be at that moment. And that's what they're going to do. Why they got to trick you, African American community? Why the deception? Why not just present Michael Robinson as a tranny man and put him on the ticket with Barry and say Barry Soe Toro instead of Osama bin Obama, Obama bin Osama? We know it was Barry. The what man? The black man at the podium. It was his fault. See, not the African American man. One carries with a respect. My child got hurt. My kid got hurt. Which one carries with a respect? The child statement or the kid statement? Completely two different statements saying the same thing. Yeah, it leaves a different feeling. Black, African American, don't ever go back to black. You're African American, and for that matter, you'd be Afro American. You aren't the only American. All of us are Americans here. And who's the original American is the American native, and we won't forget that. All right, where was I at? Donald's speech was written by psychiatrists to sound quite basic, something a 13-year-old might write. Masses heard a very simple, short speech. Barry's final speech, some days prior, went on for almost 2 hours. What the masses didn't hear was the precision behind Donald's words. In 17 minutes, he took the word America from the African American community. Partway into his speech, they felt excluded from America. As Donald went on, African Americans realized they needed to lead their own group, form a nation apart from America. Donald, as did Barry, made his group exclusive. By doing so, all others became excluded. Donald named his group America. If the person isn't with Donald, they are also no longer with America. That is how the African Americans are feeling as a group. Let's do one more paragraph here. So Etoro's head to California. First trip after they left the White House. Whoopi on The View gave us the West Side. Her fingers formed a W. Well, she did. The street gang sign for the West Side. She's done it more than one time. As she moved them around, formed a W. As she moved around, Show began doing that that week after the inauguration. Saw on one take, she flashed us the W. So I didn't word that too well, and I'll go back and proofread. Then the image changed to the audience. Big white W on a dark blue sweatshirt appeared. Oh yeah, I remember it. She gave us with a hand, I believe it was with her left hand, the W. And if you follow the hand, it'll show the next image is the audience. The audience, there's a male figure. I believe he's an African American. He has a blue sweatshirt with a white W. I think it was a white W. You'll see him. Where we at? Barry is going to present Michael, claimed Sacramento as their capital. Muslims, the 6 corporations, now after a decade and a half of persecution, changed their attitude. Today's date is February 6, 2017. There I was when I wrote this. Look at the reporting in the last week, no longer termed Islamist. Yankee learned the name for a member of Islam. Barry had a list in place for many years. Days before his departure, annulled the list so that Donald, the list he would need to reinstate. The list had a name termed the Muslim no-fly list. 6 corporations began computer generation accents on the word Muslim. Heard Whoopi say the word 8 consecutive times. Few of the times words sounded almost authentic. I believe Barry himself used the word Islamist. Anyone who used that word for a Muslim is ignorant. Now that the 6 corporations taught them to say Muslim, people will think they always used that word, forgetting how ignorant they once were. Donald's incident, talking about grabbing vaginas, reported that morning was that statement had happened that morning. Within hours, the story changed as to what had actually happened. Yeah, that was that morning, not in 1985, that he grabbed a woman by her vagina and told her to get back in there, referring to the motorhome. Marks Barry's head. Analysts, don't be fooled. The movements are CG'd from Hillary looking away to the blue cloth arm. So let me see, what was that? Within hours, the story changed as to what actually had happened. Oh, I missed no page in there. Oh, I'm back to the front. Yeah, look at that. Well, I got my pages done for today. I didn't bring any more. Yeah, what a shame. Should have bought about twice as many. Next time I will. Then I'll have something to do out here for a while. I'm going to go back to the Wandering Remote. For right now, that's segment 2. Day 8 of the protest here in front of the F.B.I. office. Just giving them a little more of the code. They think it's funny, silly games. I deciphered the code. And if it ever gets out there, the people are going to realize they were deceived. Yeah, computer generation. From the tone to the movements. Yeah, tone is key. Go to a psychiatric visit. What do they use? Tone. A pendulum also. You're mesmerized. Big Boss Jock. My 750. Signing off. El Poderoso. 750 kilohertz. AM en el radio. Soy yo. Big Boss Jock. Oh, el gran jefe de los jockeys del discos. Radio Rebelde. Firmando fuera.